Hi there! So, Nintendo have this reputation for being more, morally righteous than most other major gaming companies, cough cough EA. Whilst most companies are off stuffing their games with loot boxes and predatory microtransactions, Nintendo are stuffing their games with loot boxes and predatory microtransactions. Okay, maybe not the best example, but with mobile games as an exception, Nintendo really wouldn't touch this stuff with a barge pole. And the jewel in their crown of morality has got to be the blue-clad plumber Mario, right? You really couldn't come by a more respectable, moral, kid-friendly series of games. They're the kind of thing you could just plop a 5-year-old in front of with no fear of any harm or anything. Nintendo really take pride in these exciting adventures through the Mushroom Kingdom, so they'd never want to tarnish the series in any way, right? Except, in 1988, they did just that. Let me explain. First, some context. So, you've most likely heard of the Famicom Disk System, right? It was a peripheral added to the bottom of your Famicom, which allowed it to read specially made floppy disks. There were a number of advantages to this. There was generally more storage space available for less money, plus saving your game's progress was possible without batteries inside the cartridge. Plus, here's a really cool thing the Famicom Disk System allowed for: rewritable games. You see, 1 year after the release of the Famicom, the Japanese government had put a ban in place preventing the renting of video games. That's right, it was illegal to rent games. This made gaming a little difficult for Japanese children. Buying a new game cost 2,600 yen, roughly $17. That's not exorbitant by any means, but it's definitely out of the pocket money price range. What was Nintendo's solution? Well, they shipped out these disc writer machines to hundreds of stores throughout Japan. For only 500 yen, or about $3.25, you could insert your Famicom disc into the machine and it would rewrite it with a brand new game. There was even this snazzy little animation to watch while you waited. Once it was done copying, you would simply remove the disc and voila, new game. You could keep that disc forever and play your game as many times as you wanted. Or you could replace it with a new game for only another 500 yen. All sorts of games were available, lesser known ones like golf, mahjong or soccer, but also some of Nintendo's most popular titles like Super Mario Bros. And The Legend of Zelda. Unsurprisingly, these machines proved to be incredibly popular throughout Japan, and the disc writer service only shut down in 2003, a whole 18 years after it originally started up. Now, a couple of years after starting up this service, Nintendo decided to release a game which would be exclusive to the disc writer. It would be an enhanced and updated version of the original Mario Bros. Arcade game. You see, they'd already released a port for the Famicom back in 1983, but it had received mixed reviews, with some feeling it wasn't a great port of the arcade game. And so, a few years later, Nintendo figured they could give it a fresh coat of paint and release it as a disc writer exclusive title. But what changes did Nintendo want to make? Well, they updated the graphics to look, frankly, better, plus much closer to the look of the original arcade game. They added these icicles into the game, which were a staple of the arcade version, but which had been cut from the Famicom cartridge version. Plus, one major change: they added much more air mobility. In the original Famicom version, once you pressed jump, you were locked into wherever you were going. Mario wasn't going to budge an inch, no matter how much you pressed left or right. However, in this new version, Nintendo let you control Mario in the air a little. If you mistimed or misplaced a jump, it wasn't instantly game over. Now you could try to grasp success from the brink of failure. This change in particular made the game a lot more accessible, plus way more fun. Now, that wasn't all Nintendo had in mind for this new version of the game. They had one more big idea. You see, back then, there were a bunch of Mario-branded products released around the world. In Japan, Nintendo had partnered with Nagatanien, a company who sold instant noodles, ramen, miso soup, and so on. Together, the two companies had released Mario Curry, which is, curry with this guy on the box. However, Nintendo saw an opportunity to take this partnership one step further. As I said, normally a new Famicom Disk System game would cost 500 yen if you got it from a disc writer. Well, they suggested to Nagatennian putting advertisements for Nagatennian's products into the game. In exchange, Nintendo would be able to lower the game's cost to only 400 yen. Nagatennian agreed to the deal, and so on the 30th of November 1988, Kae Teketa Mario Bros. Was released. That name, translated into English, means roughly Return of the Mario Bros. But is the game any good? And what are the in-game adverts actually like? Well, the only way to find out is to give it a try, right? Now, I'm pretty awful at Japanese, but luckily a group of translators at romhacking.net, headed by user Mr. Richard999, have our back. They've released an English translation of the game. So, that's the version we're going to be trying out. Alright, let's boot it up then, shall we? First, we need to insert the disc. Okay, boring copyright stuff. And then voila! Snazzy title screen. Wow, this music is a bop. Once we press start, we're greeted by this menu here. As you can see, it's got the normal Mario Bros game, both 1 and 2 player modes, but then below it, there's this, Nagatennian mode. We'll take a look at that in a sec, but I'd keep your expectations low if I were you. Then, below Nagatennian mode, we've got Register and News. Let's take a look at News first, shall we? Ooh, win Mario Bros merchandise from mailing in codes by postcard found in-game. Reach 100,000 points and you'll receive some Super Mario Bros 3 playing cards. Reach 200,000 points and you'll be entered into a competition to win an actual copy of Super Mario Bros 3. Oh, plus everyone who sends in a code receives a Super Mario Bros keyring. Sorry, a special keyring. I don't mean to downplay its speciality. Right, the contest runs from, the 30th of November 1988 to the 31st of May 1989. Well, that's all that down the drain. I wanted those playing cards too. The manual has more details inside. Well, great, that's not very super helpful, is it? Now, with that bearer of bad news out the way, let's check out the next option, Register. Right, so on this screen, you can tell the game your name, age and gender. According to the internet, this is used for keeping high scores and the like. Okay, my name is T-H-O-M-A. Okay, Toma will have to do. Age, 16? It might be 17 by the time this video is out. Okay, and male? Alright. With all that setup complete, let's see how this game plays, shall we? First, Mario Bros. Original. Let's go! Oh, and what's this? An advert. That's the Nagatennian money for you. Now, there's actually a few different adverts. I won't make you wait here with me for each one to show up. I've compiled them all for you. Don't say I'm not generous. Now, once we've watched this ad, we're instructed to switch over to side B. Yeah, that was a thing with Famicom Disk System games. You had to flip over the disc partway through. Weird. Anyway, once we finally get into the game, you'll see that it's just Mario Bros. I don't know what I was expecting. It does look and sound better than the original Famicom port though, and by golly does it play so much better. Just giving you the ability to move a little in the air makes the game 100 times better. It's just a little more forgiving, but that really does go a long way. Okay, as much as I could play this for a while, let's just die as quickly as possible. Alright, and we have to flip the disc over again. Okay, back to the title screen. So, what is this elusive Nagatennian mode then? Remember, keep your expectations low. First, another advert. Then, flip over the disc. And finally, after all the wait, it's just the same. Sorry. At least on the surface. Once you die, it's a different story. So, let's die quickly. And then, ta-da! It's a slot machine. Press A to spin each slot. If you get 2 matches, you get an extra life. If you get 3 matches, you get 2 extra lives. But the highest honour of them all, if you spell out Naga Tani N, you get 4 extra lives. Check out that subtle product placement. And with that, I think we've seen everything that Kae Tekita Mario Bros has to offer. It's certainly a weird little game, but it's kinda cool. Weirdly enough, it makes me want to watch the adverts. There's something really charming about watching those little Mario and Luigi sprites dancing around in front of noodle boxes and giant billboards. Of course, Nintendo would never ever put advertisements in the middle of a Mario game nowadays, but maybe that's too bad. At any rate, Nagatanien, I salute you. Hi there! Thanks for watching to the end. I hope you found that interesting. For more of these kinds of videos, be sure to subscribe. And I'll see you next week. It'll be a hoot. Ta-ta!